Hello everyone, Nicolette here again. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Talented 10th. So I've been posting videos since like 2013 about a group of children in a summer camp that I had first entitled the Talented 10th, and then I've added the word Highlanders, so now it's called the Talented 10th Highlanders. So we have been established since 2013. My aunt and I, we founded this camp. And so the story behind it goes like this. So I always go back to my high school just to say hello to my teachers and thank them and just see how the school is going, how they're going, and to give them like an update of my life and what's going on with me. And so in 2013 I went back to say hello, and I went to one of my teachers whose name was Mrs. Torres. And Miss Torres, and so I visited her, and she was about to go to a class, and she was not one of those homeroom teachers. She was one of those who would go from class to class and do like a session on a thing or the other. And that day I think she was going to talk about like sexuality, you know, this is high school. So anyway, so I went to visit her, and she was like, I'm just about to go to the class. You could either stay here in the office and wait for me, or you can come along. And I was like, I don't want to come along. I don't want to stay here by myself. And I wouldn't mind being in the classroom just to see how it went. So then I went along with her. And so she started her class when we got there. And instead of like going through her spiel about whatever she was going to talk about, what she planned, she talked about me a bit. And she was like, here's Nicolette, she's an alumni, she used to, or is it alumnus? Yeah, she used to, you know, attend this school, and she's now a nurse, and she's done this, and she was a good student, blasé, blasé. And so when she was done speaking of me, she was like, Nicolette, would you like to say anything? So I gave my little two-piece, right? And I was like, you know, stay in school, do your best, you know, whatever. And after I was done, the teacher was like, could you come back and do like a bit of a career day type of thing, you know, being that, you know, you're a nurse, you have your own business, we would love to have you back. So I was like, sure. So I said, can I bring my aunt along, because she's my partner. So our tutoring business we have together, right? And at the time there was no camp. So I asked her if I could bring my aunt along, and she said I could. So I told my aunt about it, and I think it was like maybe 3 weeks time we returned. And so it was going to be 2 or 3 periods that we were going to meet with children or students there and talk about nursing and what they can do and what we do, that kind of thing. So, you know, I brought my stethoscope, I brought some handouts, and, you know, we did the whole shebang. So I think it was either like the second period class or third, whichever one. After we were done, well, I overheard like a girl talking to another, and she was like, oh my gosh, she was so good, I could sit here and listen to her forever. And I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome, right? And so then at the end of one of the classes, as I was saying, 2 of the girls came up to us and were like, do you have summer youth? And at the time I did not know anything about what summer youth was, so I thought it was like some summer like job thing, summer school something. So I was like, no, but what is it? Like, I can get it if I need to. They're like, you know, like, if do you hire students? And I was like, no, I don't. So then after she was done, I went to the teacher and I asked her, do you guys have like summer youth, summer school, what that is? Do you know what it is? Because I have 2 students who asked me about it, and I would like to do something for them. So it's like a summer program, is it? And she was like, well, she's like, oh, you do summer camp? I was like, no, but I could. Do you need summer camp? And so she's like, oh, we can have a partnership. So, you know, your business could partner with our school, and if you provide the summer camp, we will provide the children. And I was like, all right, let's do it. She's like, yeah, so, you know, write up a contract, you know, develop whatever program you have, let us see it, and then we'll sign off on it. So I was like, okay. So, you know, my aunt and I, on the way home, we were talking about it. I was like, Auntie, I know nothing about what I just put myself into. How am I going to do it? And so she was like, listen, whatever God allows, he will provide a way. So don't worry about it. You will be fine. We'll just pray and, you know, God will show us the way. So the whole time, it was a Friday, and we're going home, and I'm excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're a small business, and we've already got like a partnership with this huge school. Well, it wasn't that huge because it was like a charter school within a big school. So there weren't that many children, but it was like over, like, it was hundreds, I think. I don't know, but whatever. It was a school, okay, a high school at that. Anyway, so I'm like excited, like, what are we gonna do? You know, I needed to look at on the internet, perhaps, to see what it's all about, right? So we're on the bus, we're talking about it, we get home, and as you know, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, so like once sun sets, I don't do anything. So, you know, we talked about it, but I couldn't do much work because by the time I got home, it was like late. So, you know, everything was put away. I had to try to take my mind off of it, got into the whole mode of worship and Sabbath, right? So Friday night, I went to bed, obviously, and I had a dream. So in my dream, I saw a man, and he was like bald with like sideburns, and he was like chubby, and I think he had like a mustache of sorts, I think, but I totally remember the bald and like the sideburns hair. And I thought in my dream, I said, who is this man, right? And like it's as if the man had come to my home. I'm like, who is this man? And then a voice says, like a voice, just a regular male voice says, that is W.E.B. Du Bois. Is it Dubois? Dubois. He's French, or Du Bois, whatever, however they say it. So I was like, why am I thinking about him? Because in my dream, I knew whom he was, and I was like, why am I thinking about him? Because I didn't talk about him or have a conversation about him, so why am I dreaming about him? And then a voice, as if of God, says to me, and it, like, this time distinctively, it was God's voice that said to me in the dream, didn't you say you want to know how to program your summer camp, what to do in your summer camp? Go read what this man said about education, and you will find out what you're going to do for your camp. And then I woke up. So it was morning, and I was like ecstatic, like elation is not even the word. Like, I was like, what? I mean, I dream, and like I think like one other time, if not twice, that I had like a prophetic dream. And that other time, it was like my nursing, I'll talk about that another day. But like, I didn't even believe it then until it happened. But this one was like so clear, right? And so I woke up like happy and like, oh my gosh, God spoke to me. So then I ran to my aunt's room, and I was like, Auntie, you won't believe what I just dreamt. And then I told her about the dream, but being that it was Sabbath, I really couldn't research the man. You know, it's like, yeah, I know God told me to research, but it's like still Sabbath. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? So I waited, I went to church, I'm excited, I'm, you know, worshiping, I'm praising God, thank you, thank you. And so then I had to wait for the Sabbath to end. So then I waited for the Sabbath to end, and then I had my iPad, so I typed in his name to Google him, and I kid you not, people who are watching and listening, the exact picture that I saw in my dream was on my iPad. I was like, oh, that's the man in my dream. So then I ran to my aunt, I was like, look, it's him, this is him. Because like, I know of W.E. Du Bois, but I don't remember seeing him like when we talked about him in school, and that was like in elementary. I'm like, how old now? 2 colleges passed. Okay, that's how old I am. Elementary, long time ago. Okay, long time ago. Anyway, didn't remember what the man looked like. So God showed me the picture. Really? Like, OMG. Anyway, so I was happy, but then I was like, okay, let us test this, because you have dreams and they could be from different sources, right? So I thought, okay, this is how I would know that this dream is from God. Because I remember in history there were 2 men who spoke of education. One of them, the people, the African Americans at the time, blacks, African Americans, accepted his ideations and followed it. And the other man, they were like, we're not going to listen to that. That's like backwards thinking. Forget that one, right? So then I was like, okay, so 2 men around the same time. So if W.E. Du Bois is the one that they accepted, then I know that this is God. But if it's the one that they rejected, then I know it's not of God, right? So then I went on and I read, and then I discovered, that Booker T. Washington was the one that they had said they're not going to listen to, because he was like, don't be so aggressive with the whites. Take it gradually. They'll give you, give them time, and eventually they'll give you, your liberty and your freedom, and your give you the possibility and opportunity to do things, right? So they rejected that. That was Booker T. Washington. That was the other guy, right? So that means W.E. Du Bois was the one who was like, no, we have to take this by force. They're not going to give us, liberty, freedom, and the opportunities that we seek without us fighting for it, right? So he was like, be aggressive and do it now. And then he went on and talked about like how, we should be the cream of the crop, and how, there should be a class of black people who achieve greatness. Right, and then he talked about like character building, and how it's not all about scholastics and mathematics and reading and all of that. You have to also teach character, so that once the person goes out into the world, they'll have loyalty and prestige, and uplift the black nation or creed or whatever. So I was like, oh, that's it, right? Remember, partnership, scholastics, character building. The school will give the scholastics and we would do the character building. There you had it, right? So I was like, I got it. Thank you, Jesus. So that's how we founded the Talented 10th. So that was like Saturday night. So they had asked for a proposal on Monday. So then from Saturday night to Sunday night, I drafted everything. And we decided, that we would have, every day for 6 weeks, or about that amount of time, we would teach the children one aspect of character building and talk about how they can achieve that, whether it's loyalty, honesty, respect, integrity, generosity, all these things. Like there were like 60 different character traits that a person can have that are held in high esteem. So we thought we'd talk about that. Then we would do that. So we'd talk about that like for 40 minutes or so, and then we would play a game that might reinforce that character trait. So without even them realizing that they're playing a game that reinforces it, or we'll play games in general. And then we would have like people in the community come and show the children by role modeling that they've accomplished, they've achieved certain goals. So it is possible to have these character traits and not be backwards or like unsuccessful and things like that, because we felt like they needed more, they as in the children in our day need more role models, right? So we thought we would do that, and then we had the scholastic part added in a bit later, because we were like, a lot of the children in our inner city schools, they're not like where they need to be, because there are schools and there are schools, and we'll get into that another time. So